In this video, I'm going to be reacting to some live cold calls that I made a few years ago, talking about some of the bad things I did and some of the good things I did so you can learn from them and not make the same mistakes as well. We are live. It only took like 15 attempts on my end, so I consider that a success. We're going to be doing some live cold calls today. So I've got my leads right here, and we're going to dive right in. I'm going to try to make 10 different contacts, so that'll probably be like 3 to 4 calls per contact, depending on if we get the right number or not. So maybe about 30 calls or something. So one of the rules I always live by when I'm making cold calls is to always have your script in front of you. I literally wrote the script myself. So it's not like I don't remember most of it. I do remember most of it, but I just think it's good practice just to have it in front of you. Just because, you never know when you're going to need it. And it's always good to just be able to refer to it whenever you can.
Hello?
Hey, is this Rosemary?
Yes.
Hey, Rosemary, this is Spencer. Did you used to live off of, you see right there, I did the little high-pitched, is this Rosemary? Right? Kind of coming from a curiosity. That's the idea there. So I think that was actually pretty good. Shelton up in Santa Ana?
Yes, I did.
Okay, awesome. Rosemary, I don't know if you're, I'm assuming if you live off. Now, this is actually really important, and this goes into your scripting. So a lot of you guys, when I break down your cold calls, let's say they live, I use the street name Shelton. So let's say they live on 123 Shelton Avenue, right? And you're like, hey, did you live on 123 Shelton Avenue in San Francisco, California, zip code, whatever zip code, right? It's way too much. I'm trying to speak from the familiar, so I didn't give them the exact address. Think about it this way: if you were neighbors with someone, right, you wouldn't be like, hey, did you live on this exact street in this exact city in this exact? No. You should be like, hey, did you used to live off Shelton? Oh yeah, I did. Oh, awesome. I actually am from around town too. All right, so that's what I'm trying to go for here. You can go the other way too, but it's just, in my opinion, this is a little bit easier. But let's see. Street, you are the right Rosemary. Did you know that according to public record, you actually have funds owed to you from the sale of that property? Okay. Yeah, because according to the database that I have, it still says that you're owed some funds. So do you know roughly? Everything there ended with a higher pitched tonality because I'm trying to get her to have curiosity. That's really the goal here. So that's why I end everything with, hey, I don't know if you know this, right? I drop my voice a little bit to like, what that does is there's a good quote. It's, when you want someone to hear you, yell. When you want someone to really hear you, whisper, right? Because if you think about it, like when you're a kid and you have a secret, right? You're not like, hey, and then you say the secret. You're not yelling at them. You go, hey, and then you whisper, right? And so whispering, we're just naturally inclined. We're naturally, as human beings from the way we grow up, is like, that means that we're about to tell a big secret, right? So that's why I said, hey, I don't know if you know this, and I dropped my voice a little bit, right? Roughly how much you collected? Because on mine it says you're owed, we don't have the exact number, but it says you're owed over 60. So I don't know if you're okay. Can I reach out to you and shoot you an email and just see if we can look into it on our end, because it usually doesn't pop up unless you're still owed. Now, this is something where we talk about in all of our programs. You don't really want to give exact amounts. You can sometimes, it's okay, but you want to be careful because, of course, there's, there could be another lien or something could happen where it's not that amount and it's less. And by the way, it could go the other way too. We've had it sometimes where we're in the process of closing a deal. It's going to be 15K. It ends up being 20, 25K. That's happened several times as well. So just keep that in mind that, just because your data says one thing, it doesn't mean it's 100% right 100% of the time. So I always like to say a ballpark, right? So I don't remember, obviously this is from a couple years ago. I don't remember exactly how much she was owed on that data sheet I was looking at. But I said, hey, it looks like it's somewhere above 60K, right? It might have been 70 or 75. I don't know, right? But at the same time, you can't pretend like you don't know, because then you're not coming off as an expert. So that's why we really recommend maybe a ballpark and say, hey, it could be less, it could be more, but looks like it's going to be around this much. I don't know if you know that, right? Something. It's nothing out of pocket. If we do end up finding something, we'll take a small fee from that, but you're not going to have to pay us at all. Okay, awesome. What is the best email to reach you at, Rosemary? All right, thank you. Hey, I'm going to reach out really quick here and shoot you over just a couple just some information about what we have on our side, and then we'll go from there. All right, there you go. First call is a success. Yeah, I think the big thing, like for people that struggle with making calls, is like you just have to. So I answered the question correctly, but I think I could have done much better, right? You know, hey, it's not a pocket cost, da da da. I think really what I could have done better there is I could have, you know, had a much more professional. I mean, I was playing with my keys, okay? Like I could have had much more professional response. Hey, listen, that's a great question. There's absolutely no out-of-pocket cost to you. The only fee that we charge is a small percentage of the funds if we are successful in recovering them. If we're not, it's absolutely no cost at all, because I don't believe in charging my clients unless we actually successfully find you money, right? Something like that I think would have been a little bit more convincing. Confidence is a big issue. You know, like a lot of you guys, I feel like you guys are so scared to get on the phones. And it's like, you kind of just have to do it. It's like with public speaking, like a lot of people are really scared to public speak, and they just do it and they get embarrassed or whatever, like 5-10 times. And then they're like, dude, it's not that bad. And it really isn't that bad. And once you get confident, you're not going to be embarrassing. Perfect. Okay. All right. That's cool. So we don't have to call the rest of those leads. Now we can go on to the next one. All right. By the way, never refer to somebody. One thing too, guys, don't ever be scared. You know, sometimes when you do cold calls, you get a name that's like, I don't know, right? I don't know how to pronounce that name. And one of the tricks you can do, by the way, is you can go on Google and you can type in the name. You can just copy the name from your leads and then type in how to pronounce, and then copy and paste that name in Google. And there's a website that, you know, for millions of different names, they actually have a voice that goes in and will pronounce it for you, so you can get a good idea. But if you're not 100% sure, there's nothing wrong with asking on that first phone call. But don't be the guy or gal that makes 4 phone calls to someone and finally the person's like, hey, that's actually not how you pronounce my name, right? Because that just doesn't look good. It's way better to be like, hey, you know, I just want to make sure I don't get this wrong. You know, how would you pronounce your name? Just so I know, right? So that's what I did there. I think that was good. Yeah, so it's funny because people have said, oh, that's not the first call. It was literally the first call I made. It wasn't even like the first contact and I called a couple, it was the first call. And this lady answers and she was ready to go. And so you need to be prepared no matter what. You know, David, my business partner, has done, you know, cold calls every single week for our students live for like, I think like 2 years now. And it's happened a couple times where like the first person he talks to is like, hey, I'm in, you know. Now, again, it's not always that way. Sometimes, you know, you call for an hour and you don't get anybody. But, you know, you always need to be prepared. And this was a poor demonstration by me of being prepared. You know, you should have something to write on. You should have a piece of paper in front of you. And just be ready to go. You know, one thing I don't like about this video is I did not do my pre-call routine. And I really recommend that you have some sort of pre-call routine. Now, you don't do it before every call, but you do it before your first call to kind of get you in state. You know, now when I'm getting in state, it's kind of the same routine I have when I'm doing, you know, sales calls versus when I'm doing any type of work. And that's I come in, I meditate for 20 minutes, and then I have a diffuser use certain essential oils to make my work area smell a certain way so that I can focus, right? Smell good so I can focus, and then I'm ready to go. But, you know, you need that time. It's different for everyone. You need that time, though, to get in the right state before you can make those calls. So that's my recommendation to you. And yeah, I would say overall this call I would rate, I don't know, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I don't think it's my strongest call, but you know, I think overall, I mean, listen, good things came out of it, so I can't complain either. All right, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, like the video down below, comment your thoughts. Maybe you want to see me do more of this. Maybe I should do some more live cold calls. I don't know. You guys tell me. Of course, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you have not done so already, because once per month, we give out some free courses, and you want to be potentially one of those people to win a free course, but you need to get notified when we do that. So with that being said, I will see you on the next video. See you next time.